Hello guys, in this video we are going to discuss about the Wolff-Kishner reduction. This is a classic example of carbonyl reduction. So Wolff-Kishner reduction basically requires the conversion of a carbonyl compound into its hydrogen derivative or semi-carbazone derivative followed by the reaction with sodium ethoxide in very high reaction temperature, that is around 200 degrees centigrade, and sealed tube is basically used for this reaction. So these reaction conditions are basically the initial report of Wolff-Kishner reduction. Later, several modifications have been done by several research groups, so that we will discuss. So this is the initial condition of or actual condition of Wolff-Kishner reduction. So after treatment with sodium ethoxide in heating condition, we will get the corresponding deoxygenated product. So basically, this oxygen is replaced by two hydrogen atoms, and that's why the reduction is actually taking place. So in the initial step, these hydrogen as well as the semi-carbazone derivatives can be obtained by reacting this carbonyl compound with either hydrogen, either in presence of hydrochloric salt form or in presence of water, or we can react this carbonyl with semi-carbazide. So this is semi-carbazide. So when hydrogen reacts with this carbonyl, it gives hydrogen, and when semi-carbazide reacts with this carbonyl compound, then it will give us the semi-carbazone derivative, which is this one. An important modification for Wolff-Kishner reduction has been done, where sodium or potassium hydroxide is used with high boiling solvents. For example, if we consider the reduction of this particular ketone compound, then its reduction basically requires the conversion of this ketone compound into its corresponding hydrogen derivative by a reaction with hydrogen hydrate in a high boiling solvent, which is known as diethylene glycol. So this is basically diethylene glycol, and the reaction is carried out at 180 degrees centigrade. So the hydrogen formation is done at 180 degrees centigrade, and after the hydrogen formation at this very high temperature, the unreacted hydrogen as well as water are basically low boiling compounds, and they will eventually evaporate from the system. And then if we treat the resulting hydrogen with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, at same temperature, that is 180 degree centigrade temperature, then after 4 hours we will get the corresponding deoxygenated product or the reduced product. So this will be the reduced compound. Another modification of Wolff-Kishner reduction is the use of microwave as the heat source. So here also the initial hydrogen derivative is obtained via the reaction of acetophenone and hydrogen hydrate in toluene as the solvent in presence of microwave heating. And under this condition, you will eventually get the corresponding hydrogen derivative. And if you then react this hydrogen derivative with potassium hydroxide, finely divided in powder form, also in presence of microwave heating, After 25 minutes, you will get the corresponding reduced product. So ethyl benzene will be the reduced product. So now let us consider the mechanism of Wolff-Kishner reduction. So initially, if we consider the normal hydrogen hydrate as the reacting partner with the carbonyl compound, then initially the condensation reaction will take place between these two compounds and will lead to the formation of the hydrogen derivative. I am not giving the detailed mechanism of hydrogen formation, you all know that. And during this process, one molecule of water will be eliminated from the system. So after the formation of this hydrogen derivative, the base, which is OH minus, will actually abstract one of these protons from the NH2 group. So if it abstracts this particular proton, then it will result in the formation of an anion. So this will be the resulting anion. Now you can see that this particular anion is basically resonance stabilized. So it will be stabilized via conjugation like this, and its conjugated form or the resonance hybrid will look like this, right? So here you can distinctly tell that this particular form where the negative charge is basically on the nitrogen atom, which is more electronegative than carbon, this form will be basically more contributing in this particular equilibrium. So these two forms are in equilibrium in the reaction mixture, and this form where the negative charge is on the carbon atom will be less stable due to the less electronegativity of carbon atom, and that's why the high temperature is basically required for this reaction to shift this equilibrium towards the carb anion. So as soon as there is the formation of this particular carb anion in the reaction mixture, it will abstract proton from a proton source, which is basically water in this case. So after the proton abstraction, or rather protonation of this particular carbon center, we will get this intermediate. Then OH minus will again abstract this remaining hydrogen on the nitrogen center, and this will result in the formation of another anion. And then this negative charge will form the nitrogen-nitrogen triple bond, and this particular carbon-nitrogen bond will break, and it will lead to the formation of a carb anion, which will then immediately abstract a proton from the water which is present in the reaction media. So these two hydrogen atoms are now in place of the carbonyl oxygen atom. So the reduction is actually taking place. So this is the overall mechanism of Wolff-Kishner reduction. It was found that this reaction is basically proceed very fast when polar but aprotic solvents are actually taken. So in the extreme case, when DMSO is taken as the solvent, and if we choose potassium tertiary butoxide as the base, then this reaction basically proceeds at room temperature. For example, if you want to convert acetophenone into ethyl benzene, then you have to simply synthesize the hydrogen derivative by reacting with hydrogen hydrate, and then if you react this hydrogen derivative with potassium tertiary butoxide, in DMSO as the solvent, then at room temperature you will get this particular reduced product. So this is a very interesting example when the use of polar aprotic solvent basically accelerates the rate of reaction and also lower down the activation energy, thereby favoring the room temperature pathway. Now let us consider an example of alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde. So if we take this particular aldehyde and if we react it with hydrogen hydrate and then if we treat it with sodium ethoxide at ethanol medium, and if the reaction temperature is 200 degrees centigrade, we should obtain this particular product. However, considering the mechanism, the product should be this one. Right? So this oxygen atom should be replaced by 2 hydrogen atoms and this should be the product, but it was not found and this is actually the product. To understand that, we have to consider the mechanism of this reaction. So initially the hydrogen hydrate will react with this aldehyde and it will give us the corresponding hydrogen derivative, and then the base will abstract this particular proton from the nitrogen center, and this will result in the formation of this particular intermediate. So initially here was one hydrogen atom and now after this step there will be 2 hydrogen atoms. There will be a nitrogen double bond and one hydrogen will be there attached with this particular nitrogen center. And then instead of the normal Wolff-Kishner reaction pathway, a 1,5 sigmatropic shift will actually occur in this particular case. So hydrogen will migrate or shift from this nitrogen to this particular carbon center. This double bond will shift to this here and this carbon nitrogen bond will break, and during this process one molecule of nitrogen will eventually leave the system and this will give us the desired product, which is this one, right? So this is a abnormal situation during Wolff-Kishner reduction. Another interesting example of abnormal Wolff-Kishner reduction is the same alpha beta unsaturated ketone. In this case it is ketone, not an aldehyde. So when an alpha beta unsaturated ketone will be reacted with hydrogen hydrate, then initially what will happen, we will get this particular intermediate. So how this intermediate is basically forming, nitrogen center will attack here and as the normal, and the formation of the hydrogen will be pretty straightforward. So here will be nitrogen, so this will be the hydrogen. So after the formation of this hydrogen, this nitrogen center, this sp3 hybridized nitrogen center will attack this carbon atom by its lone pair and thereby forming this particular intermediate. Right. So after the formation of this deuteronic species, there will be a proton transfer. Either of these two hydrogen will be shifted towards this negatively charged nitrogen center as a proton. So the intermediate will be this one. And after that, this particular nitrogen hydrogen bond will undergo tautomerization, and it will eventually lead to the formation of this nitrogen heterocycle. Right. After that, what will happen? It will undergo a fragmentation type reaction. So here, this type of tautomerization step will occur, which will produce a new nitrogen-nitrogen double bond, and this hydrogen will basically come here, and after that, this carbon-nitrogen bond will break and form a nitrogen-nitrogen triple bond, and this particular carbon-nitrogen bond will break and it will attack this carbon center by its bonding electron pair, and this will lead to the formation of a cyclopropane derivative, which is this one. Right. So this is basically the final product of this reaction. Our last example is a Wolff-Kishner reduction of a alpha beta epoxy ketone. So if we consider this compound, it is basically an alpha beta epoxy ketone. So if we treat this particular compound with hydrogen as a hydrochloric acid salt form in presence of triethylamine, and if we choose acetonitrile as a solvent, then at room temperature we will get this allylic alcohol. So the stereospecific ring opening of this epoxide center will be observed after the reaction. Okay. So what will be the mechanism of this reaction? So initially the hydrogen, so this HCl will be consumed by the triethylamine present in the reaction medium. So after the consumption of this HCl, the free hydrogen will attack this carbonyl center and it will form the hydrogen derivative. So this is the hydrogen derivative. Then since triethylamine is in excess in the reaction medium, it will assist this particular step. This nitrogen hydrogen bond will break and it will form a nitrogen-nitrogen double bond. This nitrogen carbon bond will break and it will form a double bond here. As a result, this particular carbon oxygen bond of this epoxide functional group will break and it will result in the formation of a alkoxide. Here will be the double bond. So this will be the intermediate, and immediately after the formation of this alkoxide, it will abstract a proton from this salt, and it will regenerate triethylamine in the reaction medium, and this will lead to the formation of a new intermediate. And after that, this particular fragmentation takes place, nitrogen will eventually leave the system, which will provide us the corresponding allylic alcohol. Right. So here you can see that the stereochemistry of the product is specific. So here the stereospecific ring opening of this epoxide moiety will be observed, and this reaction is basically known as Wharton reaction or Wharton olefin synthesis. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope that you have liked this video. So thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video.